calculus is a complex branch of mathematics that is attributed to Isaac Newton and Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz. But what if I told you they didn't really invent it? According to Wikipedia, many elements of calculus appeared in ancient Greece, then in China and the Middle East, and still later again in medieval Europe and in India, long before Newton and Leibniz concreted what we know as infinitesimal calculus in the 17th century CE. This statement is slightly incorrect. It's one of the many manglings of history that has been done in order to attribute to Europeans ideas that are not their intellectual property. It is a common practice that stretches from Euclid to the medieval ages and beyond. Today, however, let's just dive deep into the roots of calculus, possibly pulling up ideas that are widely accepted in modern times. Let's rewind the clock all the way to circa 15th century India. Enter Madhava of Sangamagrama, a mathematician from Kerala. Though the precise dates are not known, he mentions his epoch to be in 1400 CE. Madhava lived a long time before Newton and Leibniz. He worked from Kerala along with the Kerala School of Mathematics and Astronomy. Together, they explored infinite series expansion of trigonometric functions, what is known today as the Taylor series, and many others, more than 200 years before Europe would see similar ideas.
According to modern historians of mathematics, Madhava didn't just codify. He and the Kerala school developed foundational ideas that form the backbone of calculus. Infinite series, approximation of pi, derivatives of trigonometric functions, and even error terms. This was centuries before Newton or Leibniz. Historian George Georgis Joseph, author of The Crest of the Peacock, writes, there is sufficient evidence to show that the Kerala school had developed parts of calculus long before it appeared in Europe. He even goes as far as calling it a major episode in the global history of mathematics that was marginalized. C.K. Raju, a historian and mathematician, has been especially vocal. He argues that not only did the Kerala school invent what we call calculus, but their work might even have influenced Europe through the Jesuit networks and Arab intermediaries. The calculus developed in India was transmitted to Europe, but the Eurocentric model of history has consistently erased non-European contributions. And that's the crux of it. The problem isn't Madhava's contribution. It is that the narrative of invention has long been written by the West. So no, Madhava didn't just codify, he discovered, developed, and expanded. It is history that trimmed him down to a footnote.
Let's now take a deeper dive into Leibniz and Newton's legal battle. Newton devised calculus at 23 but kept it private until decades later. Meanwhile, Leibniz published his version in 1684, leading to a fierce dispute over priority. The Royal Society, which Newton headed, published a report that Newton wrote claiming Leibniz to have plagiarized the former's work. Leibniz died in 1716, having spent the years since 1711 engaged in this battle. Newton is said to have declared great pleasure in breaking Leibniz's heart. Did Newton and Leibniz plagiarize work themselves? Maybe. There's no concrete proof that they had access to sources from India, but the Arabs had been translating Indian works for years before them, and the Europeans definitely had access to Arab work. Look at algebra. So, did Newton and Leibniz discover calculus all on their own? It's complicated. There's no solid proof that they directly borrowed from Indian mathematicians like Madhava, but the flow of knowledge across cultures makes it possible they at least glimpse these earlier ideas. What is certain is that calculus has roots that stretch deep beyond Newton and Leibniz, that they were not the first inventors of this complex field of maths. Thanks for watching. If you know of any other incident in history where some random person danced in and said, "Oh hey, I totally invented that," drop them in the comments. Until next time, stay curious and mildly suspicious.